Hey everyone out there in the virtual ether. My name is Megan Marshall. I'm the director of the Hugh C. Hyde Living Writers series, and I'm here with my trusty co-host, Markel Tumlin. Hello, Markel.
Hello, Megan, and hello everybody out there in the ether. So good,
Oh.
good to kind of see you.
Yes, right. Well, we are very excited to share with you the spring 2025 lineup of the Hugh C. Hyde Living Writers series. But before we jump into that, I think sometimes in starting a new year, it can be a little difficult to get adjusted. And so I thought maybe we would start with a nice thought. So, Markel, I want to hear, what are you looking forward to most this year?
Well, the thing I'm looking forward to most right now are my travels that are going to start in May as soon as school's out. I'm first heading up to the Bay Area to visit my daughter who lives there, and we have tickets to go see Nick Cave at the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco. Very
Mhm.
excited about that. That's at her request. I got an email from her. She's like, Nick Cave is coming and we need to go. I'm like, all right, so we got the tickets. We got that all lined up. I still haven't bought my plane ticket, but I'll do that next week. And then as soon as I get back from that, in fact, I haven't decided yet, Megan, if I'm going to come back from that trip or if I'm just going to fly straight from there over to England, because then I'm going over to visit my other daughter and my grandkids over in England. And we have tickets to go see Bruce Springsteen over there at the soccer stadium in Liverpool. So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
oddly enough, this is the first time that Bruce Springsteen has ever played in Liverpool. So
Really?
I thought that was kind of, yeah, he usually goes to Manchester because it's not that far away and it's a lot bigger. So
Mhm.
but yeah, when I heard about that, I'm like, oh, I want to be there for that. So I am. I've got tickets to see. I've got the Springsteen tickets. I was up at 2 a.m. one night, just online when they went on sale. Because of the time difference, I had to stay up till 2 a.m. to get them. But yeah, I got them. So anyway,
Wow.
what are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a few amazing things, especially getting to see, your family and then going to those live shows. And as, we know both of us share a love for live music and music in general. And so my highlights for this year are also music related. My favorite band, Nine Inch Nails, who said they were not going to go back on tour, have recently announced a tour. So my husband and I are going to go see them in Seattle, which is a place we'd never been, always wanted to visit, birthplace of grunge. We've heard it's beautiful, in August, and then we're going to see them again in Los Angeles in September. So very, very much looking forward to that, or to those two events this year.
Well, just be sure to take an umbrella to Seattle. I understand it rains a lot there, so you
Yes,
might you
yes.
might need it.
Yeah, I have heard. We'll have it covered. Don't worry, we'll be good.
Okay, good, good, good.
All right, well, let's jump into it. Again, we're very excited. We've got lots of really awesome events, a little something for everyone this semester. So it's going to start with an in-person event on Wednesday, February 26th, 7 p.m. in our favorite room, Love Library, room 430, with acclaimed author, poet, and editor, Jim Miller, who is a San Diego native and, well, actually, maybe not San Diego native, but has lived in San Diego many, many
Oh yeah.
years. SDSU MFA alum, teaches at San Diego City College. So we are very excited to celebrate his new work that has come out just recently.
Yeah, he's a real friend to the series, I think, because he's read a few times. And one thing I noticed about his reading this time, he seems to have pivoted. I mean, he was always here reading fiction before, it seems like.
Mhm.
And now I think last year he put out two books of poetry, I think. Uh,
Yeah,
and
one.
so oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was just the one Into the Bardo was the official.
Yeah, there was another one listed on his website called Paradise and Other Lost Places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but at any rate, it seems like I'm just kind of curious if he's still interested in writing fiction or if he's pivoting to poetry now or
Mhm.
if he or maybe it's just part of his overall oeuvre at this point. So but
Well,
anyway, I'm really curious to hear him, yeah.
yeah, yeah, me too. And I think so. The poems that are in this collection, the Into the Bardo, are based on essentially several near-death experiences that he had. He all of a sudden was diagnosed with this strange liver disorder. He needed a transplant. So I think he kind of talks about in those moments not really knowing how much time he had or what was going to happen,
Oh yeah.
turning toward poetry, the writing of poetry, the reading of poetry, is kind of a way to understand or to come to terms. So I think maybe that could be one of the reasons, the departure from fiction to poetry. But it will be interesting to, to hear him talk about that. And the poems in the collection are just so kind of visceral, impactful, and what an experience to have to go through. And luckily he is in good health now.
Oh,
Um,
good, good, good.
yes, yeah. So we're going to be thankful to, to have him read for us.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a pleasure when he comes in. So,
Yeah, and we're actually in my class, we're also rereading his novel, which is Drift, which came
oh
out
yeah.
several years ago, but it was re-released. And it's interesting. I mean, I love anything that's kind of based in San Diego because I feel like there's not a lot of those books that kind of looks at San Diego landmarks specifically, or just kind of the experience of living in the city. And so he might also kind of talk about that as well, in addition to reading some of the new poems.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I was going to say too, Markel, when I was putting together this semester's lineup, I didn't intend for this to happen, but it just kind of happened, and I'm not mad at it. And that is
Okay.
essentially, we're kind of celebrating California writers. All of the
Oh,
writers that we're bringing
oh,
in this
wow.
semester are either natives or currently living, and also kind of writing about California.
Okay. Well, thank you for pointing that out as I was looking up these authors that, that had not even occurred to me. But yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I did not intend, but some things just kind of come together, a little bit of kismet, and so I'm happy about it to be celebrating these California
Oh, yeah.
writers. So
Excellent.
yeah, the next one on the list is award-winning novelist Catherine Ma, and so she's going to be sharing some selections from her latest novel, which is called The Chinese Groove. Now, this one is a virtual event. So anybody who is not able to make it to campus for whatever reason, you can definitely join us on Zoom Wednesday, March 5th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said award winning because when I was reading through her bio, I thought, man, does she need like a special room just to hold all these awards? She's
Yeah.
won so many of them. And I think this is her second novel and third book altogether. She had a collection of short stories before, and she's already won a ton of awards.
Yeah.
And one thing I liked about reading about all of her awards, she's won kind of the highbrow stuff with the New York Times editors and stuff, but she's also won like the People Best Book from People magazine. So it seems like she has quite a wide appeal to a lot of people. And the
Mhm.
other thing I have to point out that I did find out about her when I was doing a little research is that her mother was a librarian. So,
Oh, well, I mean, yes, a person who that is very special in your heart, right?
and she's one of two writers we have coming this semester who studied law, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's just makes for a more kind of eclectic or enriching prose or poetry when you have that, sort of a different background that you're coming from,
Mhm.
so, and how that might
And she's
affect
got a
your writing.
JD from UC Berkeley, so that's nothing to sneeze at. So yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, so I think that'll be a great event as well. And again, for those of you who can't join us in person, join us on Zoom.
yes,
All right, that takes us to our next event, also happening in March, Wednesday, March 12th, 7 p.m. This is another in-person event, Love Library, room 430. We have award-winning poet, translator, and editor Matthew Zapruder, who is going to be sharing from his most recent collection of poetry, I Love Hearing Your Dreams. The cover of this book is
a
so
beautiful cover,
whimsical.
isn't it?
I know it almost kind of feels like a collection of bedtime stories. And in some ways, maybe it is, but very surreal, strange bedtime stories.
There you go. I was really impressed with the amount of editorial work that he's done. So if we have any students out there that are interested in editing, this would be a good guy who's to pick his brain.
Mhm.
Because I was just reading all of his editor's credits, and there's quite a few of them. I also wanted to point out that he's also a musician. He's in a band called the Figments, which I love the name of his band, the Figments.
Mhm.
And I found them on I think it was on Facebook, and they recently got back together just in the last few months, and they're planning their first shows in like 12 years, so their first
Ooh,
new music. So
nice.
yeah, because I found like some really old stuff about his band. I'm like, well, I wonder if they're still doing anything. And then I found this more recent stuff. So yeah. So at any rate, yeah, this should be a really cool event. And as we were discussing earlier, I'm pretty sure he read here many years ago before you took over the series, Megan.
Mhm.
And so it'll be nice to have him back.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And as you had mentioned, right, he's a very accomplished editor as well. He's editor at large at Wave Books. He held the rotating position as editor of the poetry column for New York Times Magazine. He was editor of Best American Poetry of 2022. So luckily I was able to get him to do a virtual event with my literary editing and publishing students the day before.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh,
yes,
very nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to
Okay.
get to mine his expertise, and then I'm sure there'll be some questions that come out during his event, his in-person event. So he'll be flying down on Wednesday, March 12th, to read and then to also just share some of his experience.
Excellent. Excellent. Well,
All right.
another fun in-person event to look forward to.
Yes, yeah. And so that takes us to our next event. And essentially from here, all the events are going to be in person. So we just have the one Zoom event this semester. And that's going to be the in-person event Wednesday, April 16th, 7 p.m., room 430 in Love Library. We have award-winning poet and recent laureate Lynn
Yep.
Thompson, who's going to be sharing from her most recent collection of poetry, which is called Blue on a Blue Palette. That's what the cover looks like here.
Yes, and she's the other lawyer. I mentioned we had two lawyers coming in. She also has a background in the law. So,
Yeah, and she also has a very
mhm.
decorated career. I think just
Oh
like
yeah,
Matthew Zapruder, as I mentioned, she served from 2021 to 2022 as poet laureate for the city of Los Angeles, and poet
and
laureate
she's on the
fellowship.
board for the LA Review of Books and for the Poetry Foundation. So,
Yeah, and she currently serves on board of Poetry Foundation, Cave Canem as well, and she has several other publications. I think four other books, earlier books of poetry as well, and this one it's particularly powerful. Kind of focuses on the women's experience, a lot of kind of reflections, just beautiful prose. And so I think it's great to have her coming down and also just celebrating kind of the heart of Los Angeles, who of course we've
yes,
have been in our thoughts, which is everything that's been happening.
yes, indeed.
So yes, that is again Wednesday, April 16th. Lynn Thompson. Then the next one, we've got a few in April. We've got a stacked end of the semester here.
Yeah, we closed strong this year, I think.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yeah, we are closing very strong. So Wednesday, April 23rd at 7 p.m., we have poet, editor, and translator C.D. Eskilson. And they're going to be reading from their debut collection of poetry, which is called Scream Queen. It kind of plays a little bit with, as the name suggests, like tropes of cheesy horror flicks, which
Yes, I
I
love
think is, yeah,
that.
really cool, really exciting stuff. And I can't show you the cover yet because the book isn't even out. It comes out mid-March,
Right.
so you'll have to keep an eye out
Yeah,
for
the phrase I ran across in one of the things I read, it said fright film villains and monsters. So
it.
for the inspiration. So that should be really good. Also, they were also in a punk band. So another one with a musical background. So
I know. Yes. Yeah. We're seeing some themes here, right? We've got California, we've
yeah,
got music, a few of our favorite.
lawyers, lawyers and musicians.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, eclectic bunch, right? As I
Yes,
mentioned,
indeed.
little something for everyone. So yeah, so they will be coming on April 23rd at 7 p.m. And then next up, we have the Laurie Akuma Memorial Reading featuring acclaimed author Janie Kim, who's going to be sharing selections from their debut novel, We Carry the Sea in Our Hands. It's another lovely cover. And Kim also has an interesting background. She grew up in San Diego, studied
Mhm.
molecular biology at Princeton, and then she's currently a biology PhD student at Stanford.
Yeah. Yeah, like most people with their first book out, she's studying biology in the PhD program and has blurbs on her book from Joyce Carol Oates and A.M. Holmes. Just
Right.
like all first authors do.
Oh, of course, right? I mean,
But
it's a natural progression from,
uh, I know
right,
I was reading
molecular
this going,
biology.
really, this is the first book, and already all of this, and if you're getting a PhD in biology at Stanford, how do you find time to write?
I
So.
Right. Yes. It's sort of it puts me to shame when I say I have no time to write, and then I'm like, well,
Yeah.
then I should look at Janie Kim and her
So
experience.
maybe my questions for her should be about time management. How do you how do you manage your time so effectively, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I think she's
That.
probably just got a little bit of genius in there that helps her get through that. So yeah.
Mhm. Well, and the novel's cool too. It's kind of a little bit more of an experimental approach. It kind of vacillates back and forward between this kind of scientist perspective. The very first, one of the very first lines in the book is, "Here's the beginning of all life's stories. Life on Earth started in a planetary mosh pit with a lot of water and also a lot of poison."
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, and but then the character arc and it's all really really amazing how the things kind of come together. So I appreciate the approach too that she took to writing the novel, and I know she's going to be great in speaking with
Well, you
us.
know, I was just thinking too as you were reading that that is something that a biologist would write, isn't it?
Yeah.
Life starting, you know. So
Right.
in a mosh pit, there you have the music angle again, but you know.
Right. I know. Right. See, I'm telling you, just these all of these parallels are coming together, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
loving it. All right, so that takes us to our final event of the semester, and it's a nice bookend. Markel, as we were kind of discussing a little bit before this, that we are going to be featuring Sunshine Noir 3, writings from San Diego and Tijuana. So it's an anthology, as the name suggests. It's the third one of its kind, put out by San Diego City Works Press, and it's co-edited by Jim Miller. So Jim, who's beginning the semester with a reading, and his wife, Kelly Mayhew. So it features writings from San Diego, from Tijuana, that kind of focus on somewhat of maybe the darker side of San
Yes.
Diego. Our city is touted as, whatever, America's finest city. But yet, when you
Yes.
start to pull back those layers, I think with any city, then there's a lot of, inequities that are exposed, or things that wouldn't really go on a
Yeah.
tourist brochure. So that's
Well, you
what
know,
these writings focus on.
and that kind of harkens back to Jim's early nonfiction work under the what was it under the tour under the what was
Oh,
the
under
thing
under the
called?
perfect sun.
Under the Perfect Sun, which was the first thing I ever read by him. When I first read him, you know, I read that when it came out in 2003 or whatever.
Mhm.
And you know, and it was kind of about the dark underbelly of San Diego, but they were real stories. You know, it was like a history, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so then I think he brought out the first Sunshine Noir a couple years after that. So there, you know, there was probably some connection there. But yeah, as I was looking at the dates on these, I'm like, well, if it's a year ending in five, then it's time for a Sunshine Noir collection because the first one was 2005, then 2015, now it's 2025. So yeah, right on schedule. Yeah.
I know, yeah, right. And it's great. It's a really eclectic collection. I would show you the cover, but it's another one that's not quite out yet, coming out mid-March. So plenty of time for you to get your copies before the event happens Wednesday, May 7th, 7 p.m. in Love Library, room 430. And so there's work from, fiction, creative nonfiction, poets, artists, photographers. So it's a broad range of things, and essentially kind of exploring, as mentioned, San Diego and Tijuana's border culture, city's multiple identities, lost history, the region's natural beauty, endangered ecologies, and its role as a center of the culture of war. And that kind of comes from the
Okay.
foreword to the collection.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of, I think, interesting things. And I'm excited to see what the finished product looks like.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a sucker for noir stuff, so you know,
Yes.
so
As am I,
yes.
as am I.
And also, it's nice that we had Jim, you know, kind of booking. So I know Kelly's gonna, like you said, is gonna probably be the lead at the Sunshine Noir, but it'll be, you know, nice to have Jim back again. So as
Yeah,
well. So, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Anytime we can celebrate our alums, our local presses and writers, I love the opportunity to do so. So I think it's going to be, we're going out, like you said, we're really hitting it hard at the end of the semester, and we're kind of going out on a really high note with that reading from contributors and editors of Sunshine Noir 3.
Yes. Looking forward to that one very much. I remember we did the Sunshine Noir 2 a decade ago. And so it'll be nice to, you know, do
Yeah,
another one of those. Always fun, yeah.
yeah. Let's see some new
I'm
emerging
looking forward to
voices.
seeing who they bring to read because I know they got quite an eclectic mix in the book, so it'll be interesting to see who comes in to read. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still, I think we'll leave that. It's like a cliffhanger for y'all, who's going to be there, but it's definitely going to be a wide range. So a little something of everything. And some of those writers from Tijuana and San Diego as well, just representing again, the border culture.
Yeah. And it's going to be really cool. So everybody watching this should come to room 430 that night.
Yes, May
May the
7th.
7th, Wednesday.
And it's the last official day of classes of the semester too. So we're going to be looking
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to celebrate a distraction from finals and grading and all that stuff. So this is the event. It's where it's at.
Excellent.
All right, well, that wraps it up for the semester series. We really hope to see you all there, either in person or virtually for the Zoom event. And remember that whenever I am able, I record the in-person events and I post them on the QC Hyde Living Writers Series YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out, along with a lot of other awesome content that's generated by students in the course. So just like with the series, a little something for everyone. Check us out, subscribe, comment, and we hope to see you.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody take care. Hang in there.
Bye-bye.